Okay, today I'm going to be going over the e-collar with you and how the buttons work and how it functions and all the information that you're going to need to know before you start your e-collar recall training. So first of all, before you start, I want you to go on to ecollar.com and you're going to register your collar online for warranty. Just in case anything happens, it'll be under your name. They'll have your serial number, the model number, and they'll be able to help you faster with getting the right parts or fixing your collar if anything were to happen to it. So when you go into ecollar.com, you're going to make an account. This number right here is your model number. ET-300 is the model number, and this is your serial number right here on the bottom. It will ask you both of those. It will also ask you where you bought your collar. You can say Valley Canine Training is where you purchased your collar from. Okay, so this is the Mini Educator, the ET-300. So when you open the box, you'll see a few things. So first of all, there will be a charging cord here, a lanyard here, a couple different tools right here, your collar, and your remote. So first what we're going to do is change the contact points. So the contact points that come with it here are, it's kind of hard to see there. There we go. The contact points that come with it here are the short contact points, and we're going to change it to the longer contact points just because you'll get a little bit better contact. If you do have a dog with short hair though, you can keep these short contact points on. If your dog has long hair, you're definitely going to want to be changing them to the longer contact points. So I'll show you how to do that first. So in these baggies right here, you'll have longer contact points right here, and then you'll have a tool here to undo the contact points. This little thing right here is a test light, and then there's just a little tag here that you can put on your e-collar. Okay, so to open up your e-collar contact points here, you're just going to put this tool on. You're just going to kind of untighten it there. Same with this one. Untighten it there, and then it will just screw off. So these contact points will screw off like this, and you can put the longer contact points on here. So you can just kind of screw these on here, and then you can use that tool again to tighten them. Like so. Okay, so those longer contact points are on now. You also have a test light here, which I'm going to show you how to use so that you can test that your collar is working. And don't mind Misty, she's in the background over here and groaning. She makes a lot of noises, so if you hear any groaning, that's Misty. Okay, so with your remote here, what you're going to want to do is put your lanyard on. So you can clip your lanyard on here, like that. And then you'll have a lanyard here. It's still tied up. I'm just going to leave it tied up because this will be somebody's collar eventually. I don't want to take it apart too much. On your collar, there's a little flap here that you can open up. And that's where you would put your charger, right there. Make sure that's closed so that your collar stays waterproof. The collars are 100% waterproof. You can go swimming with your remote. Your dog can go swimming with their collar on, and nothing's going to happen. And then this little opening here is where you would put the charger for your remote. This is the charging cord right here. You'll have two chargers so you can plug in your collar and your remote at the same time so you know that they're both charged. Okay. So underneath the tray in this box here, you'll have a few things. There's a warranty card. So if you go online and you can't figure out how to make an account for warranty, you'll be able to fill this out. This is the same thing as you would do online. So you can fill that out if you want to do it that way. This is a notice about possible metal allergy. So some dogs, just like people, are allergic to metal. So for some people, they can't wear anything except real gold earrings. If they wear metal earrings, they get itchy and irritated. So same with the dog. Sometimes the contact points that come with the collar will cause allergic reactions. You will just see two little dots on their neck, and that will be an allergic reaction. If you see that, then you might want to go on to ecollar.com and order hypoallergenic contact points instead. For Misty, she's allergic to the metal on the e-collar, so I had to get the hypoallergenic contact points for her, and now she's fine. She doesn't have any issues, so that's a good thing for you guys to keep in mind. And then on the bottom of the tray will be your manual as well. I'm going to be going through the e-collar with you, so you don't need to worry too much about reading this manual. It is good to go through it and read it just so that you do have a good background knowledge of everything that's going on with it yourself. But this video is going to explain everything to you guys and clarify everything and make it a little bit more understanding for how the buttons work. Okay, so to turn on your collar, this little red dot right here and this little red dot right here are both magnets. When you put them together, your collar will turn green. When it turns green, that means it's on. It will blink green every 5 seconds, and you'll know that it's on, it's working. To turn your remote on, this button right here is the on-off button, and it's also the light. So what I'm going to do is hold it down till it says on, and then it will turn on. So that's your collar and your remote there. Okay, so the button functions on your remote. There's 3 buttons here, or actually there's 5 buttons here. There's the momentary button, which is the black one, the continuous button, which is the red one, and this one by itself that has a T on it is the vibrate button. It's hard to see in the video, but there's a T on that button. And then there's an S on both of these buttons here. The back buttons here have the on-off button, also the light, and then this is the MC button. I'll be going over all of these and how they work. So if you have your collar here and you press the vibrate button, the whole collar is going to vibrate. So the collar vibrates as long as you're holding it down. If you have the collar on a number other than 0, so say we have it on a 7, and you press the momentary button, which is this black button right here by itself, if you press and hold it down, it's still only going to do a little tap, a momentary tap. So I press, I'm still holding it down, and it only did that tap. I'll do that again. A quick tap. You can also see the tap on the remote here. Quick tap. So that's the momentary button right here. And then the red button here is the continuous button. So as long as you're holding it, it's going to be on. So the collar's on right now. It's touching my finger. I can't even feel it. So that's the continuous button there. You'll also see on the remote, it continuously is going. You'll also see on the screen here that at the top, there's a 1D and it's flashing. That means it's a 1-dog system and the level isn't locked. If you want to lock a level, what you're going to do is pick your level, so say it's 3. You're going to hold this dial here down till it blinks once, and then that level will be locked. So now it's locked. If I try to turn this, it's still a 3. It's not changing. When I unlock it, it'll be at a different number depending on where you left it. Okay. So that's what the buttons will be if your collar says M and C. If there's an M and a C here, this will be momentary, this will be continuous. So I'll show you again here. If we have it on a 5, this will be momentary 5, this will be continuous 5. And right now it's unlocked because it's blinking. If you wanted to change it so that you had boosters, so this collar comes factory set with boosters. There's a booster that's factory set of 5. If you click the button on the back here that says M and C, this little button here, if you click it once, it'll say M. That means that both of these are now momentary. Because both of these are momentary, the second one here will have a booster. So if I click this first one, it'll be 5, and I click the second one, it'll be 10. Because there's a factory set booster of 5. If you press the MC button again here, it'll say C, which means that this is continuous 5 here. and this is continuous 10. So it'll continuously be going at 10, continuously going at 5, because this button will be the booster button here. If you click it again and you have an M and a C, this will be momentary 5 and this will be continuous 5. So when practicing with your dog, we want to make sure that the remote here is on M and C. Just in case you press the wrong button here, it's going to be the same number no matter what. So when you're practicing, if your dog, say, is practicing on a 10, they're learning on a 10, you want to make sure that you're on M and C so that this is going to be a 10 and this is going to be a 10 no matter what button you press, in case you press the wrong button. We want to make sure that it's always going to be consistent. If you have it on just M, remember this is going to be 10 and this is going to be 15, and that could be a little bit surprising for your dog because they're just learning, and if a 10 is their working level, a 15 is going to be too much at this point. So we don't want to surprise our dog or make the collar a negative thing or make it inconsistent. So you want to make sure that when you're practicing that you're using M and C on the e-collar here. So make sure it says M and C. Okay, so some other functions here. So first of all, I'm going to put some of this stuff away, and then I'll explain how to use the test light. So this right here is your test light. The test light will show you that the collar is working. So what you're going to do is put the test light on the collar like that. You're going to start really low on your levels. So let's start at a 6. You'll see a little light light up right here if the test light is working or if the e-collar is working. So you'll see that little light there. Then we'll turn it up. It should be brighter. So now it's brighter. We turn it up. It's brighter. We turn it up. And it's brighter. And let's turn it right up to 100 or high. And it's super bright. So that means the collar is working. I'm also going to test the collar on myself just to show you guys that it's working and that it's not uncomfortable for your dog. So what I'm going to do here, what you can do with your own collar is test it on yourself so you know what your dog is feeling. So to test it on yourself, you're going to put the contact points kind of on the fleshy part of your hand here, and you're going to start from a 1 and work your way up. So I can't feel that. I'm going to turn it up to a 6 because I know I can feel higher than that. I can't feel anything at a 6. Let's go to a 10. Okay, I can feel a little bit of a tingle at a 10. It's like a tiny little staticky tingle. It's really not that much. If I was distracted right now, I wouldn't even feel that. So let's go up to 15 here, just so that you guys can kind of see. 16 is good enough. Okay, so a 16 is like a tingly little tapping feeling. So the e-collar feels like a TENS machine. It's not uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt. Right now I'm at a 16 and I can hold this on myself for hours if I wanted to. It's not hurting. It's not uncomfortable. It's not painful. Just to give you an idea of how the e-collar works, my dog works on a 6 and her recall works on a 6. I can't even feel a 6. You guys just saw this work on me and I can't even feel a 6. I could feel a 16. If I was a dog, I would probably work on a 16. That would be my working level. So the working level is the lowest level that you can feel. So let's go up to a 20 here. So I can feel that a little bit more. It's a little bit of a tingly kind of feeling. And now I'm going to go up to a 25. Still feeling it. That's a little bit more tingly. I can kind of feel a little bit of muscle stimulation down my arm here. So that gives you an idea of what it feels like. It does not hurt. I'm not flinching. I'm able to talk to you guys clearly. At a 25 right now, it does not bother me at all. It's a little bit of a TENS machine type of feeling. That's at a 25. So I want you guys to definitely feel what this collar feels like on yourself. I was holding it pretty tight, so I have some contact point spots there. It's not a burn, don't worry. These do not burn your dog. I know that a lot of people think that e-collars burn your dog. They don't. If you have a skin reaction to the e-collar on your dog, it's because they're allergic to the contact points. So when you get your e-collar, definitely test it on yourself. You can also show other people what it feels like so that they understand you're not hurting your dog, you're not shocking your dog. It feels like a TENS machine. I could put this up to a 50 on my hand and it would just feel like a lot of muscle stimulation. It's not going to be painful. I'm not going to scream out of pain or anything. Of course, if you have it on your dog and you go to 100, it's going to surprise them. It's going to get their attention. But again, it's not going to do the same thing as a shock collar would do. There's a huge difference between e-collars and shock collars, especially with these type of e-collars. E-Collar Technologies is a quality company. They're one of the highest quality companies out there for e-collars. And the products that they make do not shock dogs. They're not corrective. They're used as a tool to teach your dog how to behave. Okay, so let's get into setting boosters and more of the advanced stuff with the e-collar. Okay, so we went over how to lock levels. Again, to lock a level, I'll show you here quickly. Locking a level is sometimes a good thing to do if you're going to have your remote in your pocket, just in case it gets turned up. It's good to have it locked. So say your dog is working on a 2. You're going to hold that top button down. Oh, so it changed to a 3 there because it kind of turned. So pretty much the 1D is not blinking, so now it's locked. If I want to unlock it, I just hold this top button down and then it's unlocked and you'll be able to change the levels. So again, say your dog works on a 14, you're going to hold that top button down till it stops blinking. There we go. And now it's locked at a 14. So that's how you would lock your levels. Okay. Okay, so to set a booster. So we know that there's already a factory booster set of 5, but if you want to set your own booster, I'm going to explain how to do that here. Okay, so I'm going to read this out to you guys first. So to set a booster, what you're going to do first is change it to momentary mode, change the intensity level to 0. You're going to press the black S button for more than 5 seconds until the level changes from 0 to a flashing 1. When it's on a flashing 1, you're going to rotate the dial on the top to the desired boost level, and then you're going to press the black button again to save that. So I'll do that for you guys right now so you can understand how to set a booster or even turn a booster down if you don't want the booster of 5. Okay, so we're going to first change it to M, momentary only, by using this little dot on the back. Okay, so M. So we're on 0. Then you're going to press the black S button, which is this button here, down for 5 seconds until it turns to a blinking 1. Okay, now it changed to 1 and it's blinking. So now we can change our intensity level. So say, let's go to a 20. So say we want our booster to be 20. So it's on 20, and then we're going to click this again, and now it's set to 20. Okay, so now our booster is 20. So if you have it on M and C, it's still going to be 4 momentary and 4 continuous. But if you have it on momentary, this is going to be momentary 4, and this is going to be momentary 24 now, instead of momentary 9, because before it was a booster of 5, if that makes sense. C, continuous. So I just changed it here to continuous instead. This will be continuous 4, this will be continuous 24. Click it again, you're back to 4 and 4 momentary and continuous. If you want to do a booster when you're in momentary and continuous, the way that you would do that is by pressing both buttons one after the other. So if you want to do momentary 4 and then you want to do a momentary boost of 24, you would keep this held down and then you would click the second one there, and it would do just a quick tap still. So it's a momentary 4 and a momentary booster of 24. If you're doing a continuous 4 and then you want to do a continuous booster to 24, then you would do it that way. So I'll show that again. So continuous 4, continuous booster of 24. So I'm holding this down and then pressing this down, holding it down. That's continuous. If you want to do momentary, you would click the momentary first and then hold that second one down there. So that's how you set your boosters. For right now, I don't want you guys to set a booster just because you're not going to need it until we get to phase 4 with your e-collar recall training. So what I'm going to do right now is change it back to a booster of 5 so that whoever gets this e-collar has a booster of factory set to 5. So the way to do that again is you change it to momentary only. You hold this black button, this S black button down until it starts to blink. There we go. And we're going to go to 5 for our booster. And then we're going to click this again. There we go. Okay, so now we're back to 5. So the way that you'd be able to test that is it's still on momentary. This would be 5, this would be 10. There we go. So those are your boosters. Let's go on to the next topic here. Okay, next I'm going to explain to you guys the lost transmitter mode. So the way that this mode works is if you leave your transmitter or your remote on for 6 hours, which means that maybe you dropped it in the forest, this will start beeping after 6 hours if you've left it on. That way you can find it if you've lost it. So the way to turn on that lost transmitter mode is by holding down the light button here and also holding down the black button here at the same time when the e-collar is on 0. So I'll show you that here. It will confirm with 3 beeps. There we go. So it went beep, beep, beep. That means that if this remote is left on for 6 hours, it's going to start beeping after 6 hours, either to remind you that you've left it on or to be able to find it if you've lost it in the forest. It's kind of a nice feature there to find your remote. Okay, next I'm going to show you guys how to change the collar from vibrate to tone for the T button here. So the way that we're going to do that is by pressing the L button or the on-off light button, which is this big button on the back, at the same time as we press this vibrate button when the collar is at 0. So I'll demonstrate that here. So right now with this collar, it is on vibrate. So you'll be able to hear the collar vibrate if I press this T button right here. So the collar's on vibrate. I want to change this collar so it does a tone instead of a vibrate. So the way that I'm going to do that is make sure that the remote is on 0. So it's on 0 there. We're going to be pressing this L button right here, this big button on the back here, at the same time as we press the vibrate button or the T button, and then it will change this button to tone instead. So I'll show you that here. It will confirm with a beep as well. There we go. So now this collar will do a tone instead of a vibrate when I press the T button. So the collar is making that noise. Sometimes for a dog that is very kind of vocal or uses their ears a lot, this tone is better than a vibrate. It really depends on the dog. So you have to test your dog, and we'll also talk about that during our lesson. So even if this is tone, this will still be momentary and continuous. Okay, so if we want to change it back to vibrate, which I'm going to, again, you press the L button here, the T button here at the same time, and now it's back to vibrate. So now this T button will be vibrate instead of tone. So that's how you'll change between vibrate and tone for your T button here. So to use the light on your e-collar, this on-off button right here is also the light. So this L button here. You can't see the L that well, but there is an L there. So what you're going to do is press the L once to turn the light on to a blinking mode. So the light on the collar will be blinking. click it again, so click the L button a second time, and the light will be solid. And then you click it a third time, it will be off. So I'll show you that again. Click it once, it's blinking. Click it again, it's solid. Click it again, it's off. So that's how you would use your light. The light is super handy, especially if you're taking your dog camping or if you're going for a walk and it's dark. It's nice to be able to have that light on the e-collar. I use it all the time with Misty when we go camping. Same with Nala if we go for a walk in the dark in the winter. Okay, so first we're gonna go over how to use your collar when your dog is in long range, medium range, or short range. If your dog is really close to you, I'd say within 200 yards or 200 meters from you, you're going to be able to use short range. Most of the time it's going to be short range. If your dog is over 200 yards away, you're wanting to use that medium range. If your dog is really far away, and this collar, by the way, is a half-mile collar. So it says on the front here, half-mile remote collar. It's about 1 kilometer, so your dog can be 1 kilometer away from you and you'll still be able to connect with them. If they're really far away, then you're going to use that long range by putting your hand up in the air with the e-collar. So that's something good for you guys to understand. Correctly fitting your dog's collar. So when you come for your first lesson, I'm going to show you how to correctly fit the collar to your dog. Pretty much you want it to be snug enough that you know that these contact points right here are actually contacting your dog's skin and that the collar is actually doing something. The worst thing is putting the collar on, practicing 20 recalls and realizing that the collar wasn't even tight enough and your dog wasn't actually even feeling anything. So you want to make sure that your collar is tight enough so that your dog's actually learning and feeling something. Next here, it explains the different modes that you can have your e-collar in. So we just went over the combo mode, which is the M and the C, which is explained here. The momentary mode, which is just the M, and the continuous mode, which is just the C. So this is explained here in your manual. If that becomes confusing, definitely read through this again or watch this video again. Okay. So with this, the proper stimulation level is figuring out what your dog's working level is or what the lowest level is that they can feel. So what you would do is you'd have your e-collar on your dog, you would have your remote, and you would start with 1. And what I usually do is I start at 1, and I turn it up and I can continuously tap like this until I see a reaction in the dog. This is something that I want you guys to wait to do until I see you in person because I don't want you training your dog on the wrong level or starting your dog out wrong. So make sure that when you do get your e-collar, don't do any of this e-collar recall with your dog until we figure out what their lowest level is first together. So that's mostly all of the functions of the 1-dog system e-collar. I'm not going to go over the 2-dog system right now just because it's a lot more confusing and most of you guys aren't getting the 2-dog system. If you are doing training with 2 dogs and you're getting the 2-dog system, then you can definitely ask me questions about how the 2-dog system works. It's pretty similar to the 1-dog system that I just explained, but in your manual here, the second half of this manual, so right where the staples are here in the center, the second half explains the 2-dog system. So adding a collar for a 2-dog system, the different modes that you can have in a 2-dog system, the different button functions in a 2-dog system. Again here, how to change levels, how to lock different levels for 2 different dogs, and so on. So if you are getting a 2-dog system, definitely ask me to go over it with you, but this video here that I'm doing with this 1-dog system is going to be the base of everything for the e-collar for most of you guys. Most of you guys are getting that 1-dog system. So again, if you get the 2-dog system, you can ask me about it. So I hope that kind of cleared everything up for you guys. I know it's a lot of information, there's a lot of buttons, a lot of functions. If you have any questions or if it was confusing, watch this video again and you will be able to get a little bit better understanding on how your e-collar works. Again, this is a really well laid out manual. It explains everything really well. Play around with your collar, see how it feels on yourself, and don't be afraid to press buttons and change things. It's pretty easy to set it back to those factory settings. So if you did accidentally mess something up, we'd be able to set it back to those factory settings. So again, if you have any questions about your e-collar, make sure you send me an email or ask on our Facebook group. If not, watch this again and this should clear everything up for you. So I hope that helped, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, have a good day.